Yo, moin Freunde, alles gut bei euch? Willkommen zurück in der Nerdcrate. Willkommen zurück auf einem, ja, ziemlich mehr wolkigen Sonntag. Aber naja, wir machen das Beste draus. Willkommen zurück zu einer neuen Ausgabe Crate Hangouts. Und ich habe hier meinen Kumpel Mike bei mir sitzen. Den kenne ich seit der TFCon, habe ich ihn damals kennengelernt. Und wir wollen uns heute einfach mal ein bisschen zurücklehnen. Heute mal wieder weniger professionell. So gut, es geht natürlich, aber ein bisschen einfach chillt. Und ich wollte auch ein bisschen was zurückgeben, weil er hat uns ja damals oder vor einer gewissen Weile sein Bild geliehen für unseren Shop The Collector's Bay. Und da reden wir gleich auch ein bisschen drüber. Aber damit fangen wir gleich erstmal an. Bitte auf dem Zettel haben, das ist alles heute komplett Englisch. Der gute Mann lebt in Philadelphia, home of Rocky Balboa, so to speak. Und ja, ich würde sagen, damit fangen wir an. Let's hit it. Mikey.
Yes.
What's good, man?
What's going on? I understood Philadelphia and Rocky Balboa.
That's good. That's good. Then you got the gist of things. No, man, I just said that I wanted to give back a little thanks. Thanks again to your awesome picture from your toy rendition of Transformers, the movie that we use for our shop. That I wanted to give back a little, so that's why I invited you. So there was a little collaboration. I believe you guys still can find that on the Collector's Bay, where we posted that on Facebook in part. If you want to see the full piece, you better head over to Mike's Facebook and Instagram, and I don't know, everywhere in the interwebs. He's kind of everywhere. He's everywhere under different names, and yeah, you're a busy dude. You're a busy dude. You are doing it all. You just did a t-shirt design.
Yep. Yeah. I'm just always trying to stay busy in one outlet or another. You know. Yeah.
Damn true. Few people also in the live chat. We had, of course, we have Sentinel Bear reviews who said, well, I guess somebody confused AM and PM. Yeah, I didn't check on that. The first event of this, I actually set for 8:15 AM. That would have been a little bit early. So I had to correct it pretty much. But he's in here. Cantina of Transformers, an old follower of mine, is here. And just stopping by to say hi and wishing you a great talk. We'll watch this tomorrow, hopefully. So there you go. Sadly, but most of the time, family and everything, busy too. And Michael Hagner. So a few of the usual suspects. One wish before I leave, Mike, do a G2 Fear Swoop shirt.
I'll put that on the list. I have an ever-growing list of t-shirt ideas, so I keep adding to it, and I pick from it when I get a little bit of time. But yeah, I'll check that out and add it to the list.
There you go. And maybe also after the Chicago Horribles, maybe the Charlotte Waspinators and what we talked about earlier.
Yeah, I think the team thing's a good thing. I put that up on the website and had a sale within 5 minutes. So I think the team thing might be a good avenue to explore.
Yeah, I'm gonna order that Horribles once we're done. Quite honestly, like with the Last Dance that I just watched, I'm on a new high. I love the soundtrack. I love how they did. I mean, it got a little bit of criticism about it being a little bit too revolved around MJ and Scotty being in a bad picture.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's a documentary. You really only know if you were there. So
right.
I just enjoy it for what it is, and that's a damn good Chicago Bulls documentary. So I'm happy with that.
I'm a Sixers fan myself, obviously, but how can you not say that the Bulls were probably the greatest basketball? That era was probably the greatest era of basketball.
Yeah.
You know, by one team, especially ever, really. You know,
they were so dominant. It's not even funny anymore.
And then even after just the Bulls themselves, just like that complete era. Like I remember just watching that Dream Team. You know, the Jordan and Bird and Barkley and all those guys, man. It was just such a great era. And I really think that team would whoop any team's ass that would get put together today. that's
pretty
what
much.
I think.
I also thought exactly the same. Like, I believe these guys, I mean, against normal people, they would kill everybody, but I believe they could still kind of go. Like, I think back in the day, that was just a huge mistake to really let them go, to rip up the team. They could have done a third three-peat, like do a three-peat.
Right.
Like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 again. They could have done that. I believe so.
I agree.
like easily. And but hey, I mean, I also got Reinsdorf commentary at the very end where he said the market price for all these guys would have skyrocketed. That is a point too. I mean,
yeah,
you know, but we're not here for Chicago Bulls. This is not a
right.
Chicago Bulls podcast. But dude, anyway, a good start, man. Thanks again for being here. I'm having a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun 2018 with you. Like we just know each other from there, and you are always so easy approachable, super cool dude. Like I was. That's where I have a little bit of yeah, I don't know, regret, you know, like I was there 3 or 4 days and not enough time for all of the guys. Like,
yeah, I always say that about the cons, man. Like they're, you know, I usually try to get there a day early to at least have one hangout day where there's no con involved and just hang out with everybody. But just since this whole online community kind of got started and you meet so many people online, then everybody's at the con, and to make time for everybody is almost impossible. It should be like a week long, you know?
Yeah.
And the cons really have gone that way for me, like outside obviously of having a vendor space and of course wanting to sell a ton of gear. Like my main focus there isn't even the Transformers anymore. It's actually getting to hang out with everybody and, you know, party it up a little bit. So yeah, I agree with you. I do wish it was a little bit longer.
Yeah. That's where a friend of mine from real life also says, like, you were there 4 days in the United States. Like, why not take 2 weeks? I'm like, dude, because it costs fucking money. And
yeah,
that was 2K that weekend, you know, and that was all in. And I was happy that I was able to keep it kind of low. I would have loved to stay longer there. I wanted to go to the city. I mean, Chicago, we just talk Bulls, you know, like maybe check out the statue and all that stuff. But I went there for the people. Of course, I went there for the con. That was all cool and well and fair and everything. But I went there for the people. That was it. I wanted to hang out. And the bots, the plastic crack was just a bonus. So maybe in the future. But that was the first time. I was slammed anyway. Like the first thing I went in was a sports bar. And that was as American as it can be. You go in there. Flat screens everywhere, college football, basketball, UFC, MMA, everything all around. And then you're getting the burger and the bourbon infused beer, and that was pretty much as American as it can be, pretty much. So and the rest was just hanging out and having a good time. I'm not much of a tourist anyway. But dude, first question of the evening, did you get anything new, something nice? Maybe.
I got well, I mean, it was a couple of weeks ago, but I finally shipped my birthday stash. So I was saving up. You know, I was getting stuff in my TCP stash since January, either January or early February, and I just wasn't clicking that ship button. And then as it was getting closer to August, you know, like I should just click this and send myself the greatest birthday present ever. So I probably got about.
I saw that picture, right?
Yeah,
I remember.
Yeah, it was pretty good. In hindsight, I kind of wish I would have gotten them done in smaller doses because I didn't get time to spend. I didn't get time to spend time with each one as much as I wanted to because there was just so much stuff. I was just opening stuff and putting it up on the shelf and opening and putting it on the shelf. So I probably won't do that again. But that was a big stash. I probably got like 9 or 10 GI Joes and just a ton of third-party stuff, you know, some of the Predacons and Star Convoy and the X-Transbot Streetwise and the new Make Toy Starscream and just a bunch of stuff that I'm already forgetting because there was so much stuff. But that was that haul. But the real gem I think that I picked up in the last month. So I've been trying to complete this Japanese G1 collection for years, and I
always see those posts like this. That's always a big joy. Like I didn't have a lot of G1 back in my day, and I now kind of feel you better, you know, with my G1 Prime, and now I actually understand this a little bit more. And these pictures are always so dope when you get something new, and you actually able to pick out pretty pristine ones sometimes, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. They show up. But, you know, they show up with side flaps torn off or somebody cut the robot points out or especially with the Japanese stuff, if the paperwork is missing, that stuff is really hard to find. I mean, you could find American, you know, instruction sheets and the catalogs that came with it fairly easy on eBay and other places. But the Japanese stuff, I really aimed to just hold out and just wait for really good pieces, because a lot of, you know, not everything I have is perfect, but I just want it in decent display condition.
Right.
So I've seen the double clouder that I picked up as the last piece that I needed. You know, there were double clouders out there, but especially because it had gold, you know, some of the chrome paint or whatever wasn't always good, or boxes were in terrible condition or whatever. So I held out, and I'm actually in a G1 collector group, and there's a dude, Bill Hauk, and he always kept his eye open for me. So he actually found this dude that was selling the double clouder and, you know, hooked us up, and the rest is history. So yeah, that one got here, and that was the end of an era, because that was finally, I finally didn't finish the collection, but I finished the Japanese collection, and the American collection was already done. But our friend Jason Bren talked me into Micro Masters and Action Masters. So now I'm kind of going back and picking those guys up. So I still have a couple of those to pick up, but the main American collection before that and the Japanese collection is now kind of complete. So I can kind of put that to bed, which is a weird feeling, because
right?
Yeah, I know I'm a little bit older than you, but we're in kind of in the same age range. And it's like, man, I've been collecting these since age 8. Yeah. So it's been a over, you know, what is that, 36, 37 year journey. And it's like, wow, it's kind of done, you know, so it's cool.
Is that leaving a void? Like you said, the US collection was pretty much done anyway, and now you're done with it with the Japanese. You're only doing Micromaster and stuff. So the real gist is, so to speak, is done, right? I mean,
it's basically, it's done. I don't think the void's going to hit until the Action Masters and Micromasters are done, because then that'll completely wrap it up. But
I imagine you standing in your room. Sorry for cutting you off.
Yeah.
I imagine standing in your room, and as a collector, you know, sometimes you just, man, I want something new. Man, I want something new. And you're standing there, and at first you're, I'm done.
The shakes kick in. Yeah,
I'm done. You know?
Well, I think there's a couple things that are going to stop that from happening. Number one, we have an ongoing new collection of, you know, MPs or chugs or legends or whatever it is that people collect. I myself am doing MPs. So little by little, that kind of scratches the itch. And I think the other thing, as collectors, and you know this as well as I do, you're never completely finished. So even though the G1 collection is finished, I'll be looking around and thinking, you know, that one right there, that one could use a better box. I could find one in a little bit of better shape. So maybe I'll kind of go on a hunt to replace that one. So I don't think it'll ever be totally done until they're burying me, pretty much. But
wow, what's good, dude?
Yeah. So that's it. I don't, you know, the new collection will keep me busy, and the Action Masters and Micromasters will keep me busy for a little bit. And, you know, G.I. Joe and Thundercats and some of these other franchises that were around when we were kids that I said I wasn't going to collect, and I lied. So kind of slowly getting into that stuff as well. So we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, I feel you. Like I got the NECA Goliath from Gargoyles on pre-order. I wonder when this is gonna hit. And then they teased them on us. So that's a rabbit hole coming knocking.
Yeah, but Vanessa's a huge Gargoyle fan. So the second that I sent her the screenshot of that being up for pre-order, she told me to pre-order it immediately. So she's getting that.
Yeah, I want to flesh out my Mortal Kombat collection. Like that's also a thing. But I need more space for that. I believe I have to rip down the canvas and then build probably the pit or a version of the pit over Shao Kahn's Coliseum.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't have any space. I mean, usually I would put Kintaro behind Kahn, but there's no actual space. So I might split up the sub bosses, do the outward stuff, Shao Kahn, Goro, and Baraka on the right, and then do Kintaro and Motaru on the pit over above everything, and then leveling that out. Currently thinking about getting the unmasked Sub-Zero, but I never was into that. So maybe just for checking it out. You're into that too, right? You got the ninjas too.
Yeah, I'm I was a huge Mortal Kombat fan back in the day, like 1 through 4, and then after 4 I kind of fell out a little bit, but I definitely got into the figures. I wasn't going to, but a couple actually co-hosts on my podcast, Blackout and Shout, them two and our other buddy Jay Luzon, they chipped in and got me Sub-Zero and Scorpion for my birthday a couple of years ago, and I knew that the second I took those guys out of the box and like held them in my hands, I knew I was cooked. You know, it's like, oh man, oh, it looks like I'm collecting this line now. So yeah, I got into those guys, and it's like, it's just the only bummer there is that they come out at such a slow pace, because Storm Collectibles has so many other going on right now. So who do we got next? Kung Lao. I think Kung Lao's coming out next.
Kung Lao is coming out next, and they announced Kintaro.
Kintaro, yep.
So they're flashing that out, and they teased Kitana multiple times. So they have to go into the females. I mean, it's not like Capcom said the same thing, or as NetherRealm said the same thing as Capcom, because Capcom really put them to the curb and said, you guys got to do the females. People want to do the females.
Yeah.
And they're supposedly not big female fans, which is a weird thing to say.
I've heard that, yeah.
Yeah, but they got to do that. You got to do Kami, you got to do Chun-Li, and then on Mortal Kombat, you just have to do the originals, at least Kitana, Mileena, Jade. I mean, if they would do what some customizers out there do, like some people actually did mold ops from the ninjas, like the Noob Saibot, so to speak, as a clear mold, and made a chameleon, all translucent. You saw that?
I heard about it, but yeah, that would be. Or no, wait a second. If somebody did a custom, is what you're saying?
Yeah, custom.
Oh, I haven't seen that. No, that's kind of a cool idea.
Crazy good. Yeah, translucent, fully like ever so slight milky, cloudy in the clear plastic, and then kind of a little bit more catchy to the light turquoise color to the gi. So actual good-looking chameleon with some accessories, even like those knockoff flames from Tamashii Nations.
Yeah.
So you have all these rainbowy colors, crazy cool stuff. Like some people are crazy talented. So that is nice.
Yeah. Ultimately, I do hope they do the female. Like I would like the Katana, Mileena, and Jade, obviously Sonya, and I would like to see Shiva and a Sindel at some point.
Yeah,
but yeah, got to get them females in there, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so too. They're flashing it out, all males, and then flashing that out, and a few males here, a few males there. Yeah, I think doing the pit would be a fun idea. But yeah, I think that's kind of cool. But dude, you are known for so many stuff. I mean, your own name is your government name, but you got your site, the Reflector Files. You got Angel Downstar. I mean, obviously. Angel Down, your band.
Yep.
Then there's the baseball team, the Flying Shitbirds, right?
The Fighting Shitbirds. Yep. Yeah.
Shitbirds. Sorry, the Fighting Shitbirds. So, how come let's go to the Transformer section. How come that you've chosen Reflector as your I don't know, your mascot, so to speak?
So I've always been into art growing up. From the time I was little, and I finally maybe about 11, 12 years ago, I went back to school, and I finally went back for computer graphics and design and all that kind of stuff, and I took a photography class, and I basically just took the photography class because it was part of the program. I wasn't really totally into it, but then once I got into photography, I realized that I really loved it. So the whole Reflector Files thing came from just Reflector being a camera and me being really into photography, and he was the Transformers, camera. So it was kind of just kind of fell into my lap. I didn't even really think about it a whole lot. It was just like, oh, that would be kind of cool. And I was taking a lot of pictures, which would be files on a digital camera. So that's kind of where the name came from. And sure. I just, I basically didn't even really start the page in order to gain followers or sell anything or do anything. At first, it was really just an excuse for me to take my toys off my shelf, because I got myself into this rut where I was buying stuff. I was opening it. I'd put the guns on, throw a faction symbol on it, and look at it and say, "Hey, that's nice," and then stick it up on the shelf and never touch it again.
Right.
So I really just started the Reflector Files page like, all right, I'm going to just start taking stuff off these shelves and mess with it again and take some pictures and have some fun with it. So that's basically where that came from.
That's cool. That's a different approach to that. Like some people, or a lot of people in the Masters of the Universe community, they case everything. They put that in those Sora cases, you know, and they do these acrylic cases. And I kind of get the appeal there too. Like essentially, like with your G1 collection, you hang that up on the walls, or you put it in a bigger shelf, and it has a nice appeal to it. But it's exactly like you say, like you put it in there, you're happy you got it, but it's in that case, and
Right.
that's it, you know. And that's where I also say, yeah, I agree there, but on the other hand, I think these guys, it's always the sentence, but those got to breathe, and
Yep.
I like to dust, because then you have to fiddle with these guys again and maybe say, hey, yeah, that post were good for the last 6 months or whatever. You got to look different now. Well, then something needs to happen there. You know, you have not even an excuse, but just, I mean, there's a lot of money in those, and some really, really big money when I look at my Hulkbuster, but some are more easy to repost and some aren't. But just for having that stand there, that's also what always ticked me off the statue approach. Like those, you just assemble and you're done.
Right.
You can't do anything with this. Sometimes you have at least options, and an angle here for the arm where you put it out, put it in, and then the arm looks down, or I don't know, options right out the box. But otherwise, statues, you build them and you're done. And that was never my appeal, you know.
I agree. I used to have just a couple of busts and stuff like that, but like you said, it's you sit them there and they sit there,
Yeah.
and there's not really much to be done with them. You know, it's like I look at my cases with all my MPs, and I know they're all action figures, and they can all transform, and they can all be posed, and I just see a war breaking out in this room any second now, and I like that. You know, I just the statues never, and I'm not looking down on anybody that collects them. Some people, that's what they want. They just want something to put up, and this is my representation of this character, and it's going to stay like that. And every time I walk past it, I'm going to imagine all the scenes from the cartoons and the movies, but this is just, you know, what I want. But for me, I got to have the action figures, because, you know, you just want to put them in different poses, and especially being into photography, you just want to take pics and do all kinds of stuff like that. So
yeah,
I
and
agree.
that's always so cool, right? When you have an idea in your head, and then you're at that point where you want to balance them and not foot, and then you see, oh, the rocker is not outside. Okay, you gotta I gotta change up the pose. You gotta play with the tolerances, but at the end of the day, that's also cool. You see what you can do, what you can actually be able. Like when I see the G1 Prime, like he can barely do a walking pose, you know, because you have to balance him. You got the angle of that one knee, and you have to balance him on that angle of that foot. So that's a little bit rougher. But yeah, man, it's been a while since I did an actual photo shoot. I may be doing that with the Prime. He's just a beauty. But we had a few, we at least two comments. We had Cantina, who said in a better review said once, the collection is kind of a living being. It changes so often, never stops growing. That's kind of true.
I agree.
Like even if you're not staying in this at the same lane, like collection wise, and sometimes you're just throwing out full path, you know. It's always evolving. And Ultron 56, the new dude, said, "Are you guys collecting the Transformers 86 line? Is that something for you?"
It is not. I have a policy in mind when collecting. Like of course I have my old G1 collection, but the Masterpiece line, outside of stuff that you would build in a swarm, like Insecticons or sweeps or Sharkticons whenever they happen.
Right.
Outside of that kind of stuff, and then with combiners, I get I want one team to be my combine mode, and then I get another team to be my individual bot mode, and like so they're all double up. But outside of that, I stick to one representation of every character. So I only have one Optimus Prime, one Masterpiece scaled Optimus Prime, or one anything Optimus Prime for that matter, outside of the G1. So
is that the MP44 which you got?
It is the MP44. I ended up getting the MP44. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I wanted to get the black version, the Nemesis version from Transform Element, and then the Magic Square white version, and then the old MP10 as the shattered glass, so they would all be different molds of the same guy,
cool.
which is kind of a neat idea. I try to do that for everything. I try to do like my Inferno and Grapple they're not both MPs. Like I have a MP Grapple, and then I have my Inferno is actually the Oculomax version. Like whenever there's a repaint from back in the day, I try to get different companies, but for each one, that way they're actually like different toys rather than just a retool.
Yeah.
So you get different molds and stuff. But circling back to the 86 collection. So yeah, that's something I just don't have room. And that's how I sticking to that kind of formula is how I maintain having enough space to properly display.
You're maintaining space by not buying more.
By not buying more. That's exactly right. Because it is like you get to Jason Brent actually said another wise line that he gave me was like there's a fine line between collector and hoarder.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and a collector is somebody that collects, but they have a way of displaying everything where you can see everything nicely, and you don't have to like move some stuff to see other stuff. Everything's kind of like displayed nice and all that, and it looks like a you know, proper setup. Where the hoarder loves so much stuff and just buys everything, and then there's stuff piled on top of other stuff, and you find yourself in that where you move every figure down 1/4 inch and then the next one down 1/2 inch until you get yourself a tiny little bit of space at the end of the shelf to cram another figure onto it, and everything gets so crowded. So that's how I avoid getting all this new stuff. That being said, I love that 86 line because I messed with some of those figures, and they're so they look really good for mainline figures, and they're easy to transform. So they were like fun. Because you know MP Transformers aren't fun sometimes. It's like you start sweating when you're transforming them. So
sometimes,
yeah. No, I really do. I like the 86 line. I'm not collecting it, but I am thankful that I have local friends that do collect stuff like that. So I still get a chance to actually like have the stuff in hand from time to time. So that's cool.
Yeah, I think so too. Like I was a little disappointed in Cup, like especially because I bought those at our collector's bay and I resold them, but I checked out the Hot Rod, and that was one hell of a surprising figure.
Yeah,
like for mainline, that thing was killer. Like everything was on point. The transformation was fun. He looked good. The articulation was amazing. The blast effects, no bubbles in there, just clear blue plastic, worked amazing. And next up, I had the Cup, and the Cup was 180 degrees from that. The face was bad. Like when you put it up to the light, you know, the light piping, that was okay when some life was in there. But otherwise, the Cup face was bad. This assembly feature where he's lying down and Hot Rod is repairing him, that was way too loose on my copies. The people were saying, yeah, mine was good. I'm like, dude, I can only rate what I have, and if I don't even have to hold it. You know, when you hold a cable only with the friction of your hands, and otherwise it's supposed to crash down. This is how I actually gripped the arm of Cup, and I pulled it down, and this loose was. I was just pulling it out of the socket.
Yeah, the cup I didn't get a chance to mess with. So yeah, that one I didn't see. The Hot Rod, I will agree. The Hot Rod, they might have did the Hot Rod better than the Masterpiece Hot Rod, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
They might have.
Yeah, I believe they even did, because the Masterpiece is just really blocky in the chest, and this one actually has, I mean, it's a fake chest too, but
yeah,
not even 100%, but it goes really nice on the hip. Perfect. Works amazing. Yeah. So I was really sitting in front of that and saying, Hasbro, you can do that. You're actually able to do that. That is great stuff. I mean, people might think now, okay, what you have, this is not negative. Like, this is really, really good. Like, why not always this way? Because when I think like Mattel is doing great A shit with Masters of the Universe currently.
Yeah, the Revelation stuff.
The Revelation stuff,
yeah.
I wasn't able to check out, but also the Origins. The Origins are like exactly like we had back in the day, but just with tons more articulation.
Yeah.
Amazing. And the Revelation I want to check out desperately. I had the Skeller God that had a few problems. I had that back in the box already. Where the double knee is not really working. When I try to pull the second portion down, I actually start to form a stress mark because it's that tight in the thigh. But overall, it's still a good figure. I mean, it's got dry brushing everywhere. It's got an actual cloth cape. It's got a blast effect. There's something I can't unsee. Like Brandon yesterday said on the Hangout that if you turn that magic effect to the side, you got the perfect green fireball for a Shang Tsung. So you won't ever unsee that.
That's a bonus when you get when we finally get our Shang Tsung, whenever that is.
Finally get our Shang Tsung, exactly. But that's a good figure, and it's a good size. So I think Mattel is doing a great job. And I mean, it's for kids, but the new Netflix stuff also doesn't look bad. It goes style-wise, it goes directly into Troll Hunters from Netflix. Have you watched that?
I have not yet.
Superb. Like
really
if you're digging a little bit, it's a little bit on the young side, like really stylized animated stuff. But the story is great with trolls and aliens and titans and magic, and it works in 4 series all in conjunction. Excellent.
Good. And you said that's on Netflix?
Yeah. Full piece.
Troll, yeah, I'll have to check that out. That sounds fun.
It's great. It's really great. And the new Masters of the Universe for Netflix that they are doing is really kind of in that style. So people are hating all over that, also on Revelation. Dude, just in short, what's your thoughts on Revelation?
Series? So Revelation, I'm about 7 or 8 episodes in. I'm so ADHD, man. Like instead of just starting a series and finishing one, I start multiple series, and then I kind of watch, a couple episodes of each, making our way through. So I finally just finished the Kingdom, but during Kingdom, I was also watching the Masters of the Universe. I made it up to like 7 or 8. So I don't know how it ends yet. So all I could speak on is the first 7 or 8 episodes, but I really enjoyed it. I like there were so many love letters to the fans in the first episode or 2, like with all the old vehicles and a lot of the characters and everything, which was awesome. But I really liked the twist, not a twist, but just like the story arc that they follow, where like technology was slowly replacing magic, which I thought was really kind of interesting and stuff like that. Yeah, I didn't really have any I know what you're getting at. Like a lot of people were out there bitching about how Tila kind of took center stage and
and looked like a man and all that bullshit.
Yeah, none of that really bothered me. I do my best to not pay attention to the opinions of the internet as a whole, because I always realize that the people that are chirping on the internet are the ones that don't like what they're seeing, but like other people that do like what they're seeing are just enjoying what they're seeing and not yelling at everybody else about it. So from the people that matter to me, like people that give me opinions that like I could take their opinion and believe in it, everybody seems to pretty much like it. So
and I did too. The most of the people that I revolve myself with is also extremely positive about that. There are a lot of I have the standpoint. I mean, if people have actual problems, I'm not attacking those people. I'm not attacking anybody. But I feel my point of view is just, if you are hating on something like this, you must be a severely bored person. Pretty much probably the same ballpark that go into comment sections of YouTubers, like Bobby just had that someone told him he wishes that his house burns down and stuff like this. People have issues, man.
Yeah.
Like real issues, and they are bored. And I don't mean like problems. If you're having problems, I don't know, like different sickness things, it's all good. Stuff happens. But if you are only having a 10-hour workday and otherwise you're sitting on your ass and you're dissecting such a show to death, then you got problems. And that's all there is. Like, just enjoy stuff. It's going in there, it's getting uploaded, people start watching that, and it's a good fucking show. It's
I agree.
Good fucking show, and just enjoy it for the sake of it. I mean, you can always say I don't like it because, like, for example, Eric von Wolfenstein, he doesn't like the Bad Batch because of Omega, and I get where he's coming from. At first, the Omega character wasn't my bit too. Like I didn't like her too much, but she's really got there. She was learning stuff, and she was really getting there. She was helpful, so that was nice character growth. But I get where he's coming from, and if she essentially ruined hard work, but so to speak, the show for him, I can understand where he's coming from. But it's just that he doesn't like the show, and that's that. Just a simple sentence, man. It's not for me. And not, I hate it, it's destroying what I loved in the past. And dude, chill the fuck out. If you're getting that destroyed over something like that, then maybe take a breather.
I guess the main thing is like, or if you don't like it, that's fine.
Yeah.
But don't not like me because I like it. Like, you know, if we have a disagreement in taste, you know, that's fine. You do what you do and I'll do what I do and we'll both be happy. But you know, there's a lot of, I mean, hey, listen, I'm not gonna lie. I used to bust people's balls all the time for the Bayformers. You know, I hated the Bayverse. At the end of the day, like, if you like that stuff, that's cool. Like, I don't like it, but if you like it, I don't understand it, and I don't have to understand it. But I'm certainly not gonna hate you for liking it. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's exactly my point of view. That's always what I say. You like it, you win. That is the most important thing. That's just it. But I got Rudy Zizou in the chat, the host of Bots at Home. He says, Metal Origins for me is the most exciting toy line this year. Nostalgic feelings, but with modern engineering. 100%. Like, a little weird in some bits and pieces, like the Battle Cat and the Panther don't have a rocker. Like, it's all one piece after the elbow, so to speak, which is weird. But overall, these things are amazing. And Sergeant Bumblebeer, hi guys, nice to hear from Mike. Cool update for his content. Greetings. Yo, what's good, dude? And he was one of his favorite characters, says Cantina. He actually checked out Revelation just now. He never mingled in Motu, so that's new for him, which is pretty fucking cool. And of course, this says mehr Legends braucht das Land, more legends the world needs, so to speak. So everybody has to collect more legends. But let's check out what my next question is. Yeah, right. So, what do you collect? Like, give us an overview. What is the collection of my king?
So all right, so we talked about the G1 collection and we talked about the MP collection. Outside of that, I have Mortal Kombat. We touched on Mortal Kombat. I'm collecting the Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat line. I am collecting G.I. Joe Classified. I had a weak moment a couple of months ago and I went and I pre-ordered every Super 7 Thundercat I could find.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those are a few.
Yeah. And I'm into so I got my toes dipped into the Marvel water.
Okay.
So I have a I don't want to say a bunch of legends, but I have a couple shelf full of legends and I have some Mafex X-Men. Like my big thing in Marvel comics back in the day was the X-Men. Like I loved a lot of Marvel comics, but like if I had to throw it all out the window and just keep one thing, it would be X-Men.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
with that Transformers collection, that's a statement.
Well, no. I just mean as far as Marvel goes. Like if I had to, you know, like I was a big Spider-Man fan and Punisher and Avengers and all that stuff. But if I had to just choose one thing from Marvel, it would be the X-Men.
Gotcha.
So I started getting, you know, Mafex has been doing some really good like 90s X-Men, you know, Gambit and Cyclops and Jean Grey are on the way. And I have Cyclops, Wolverine, and got a couple amazing.
I'm a big symbiote dude, so this one was a no-brainer.
Yeah, I want to get some of that stuff too. So I'm like, I want to get some of the nicer, like the Mafex and Amazing Yamaguchi stuff, like, and then whatever figures that they don't do that I get in Legends, because I don't, like, I was joking around with a couple of my friends. I don't think Forge is ever going to get a Mafex figure. So I have the, you know, there's certain characters that are out there that probably will never get that treatment. So I'm kind of filling in the gaps with Marvel Legends. But yeah, I'm kind of enjoying that too. I just don't know where the cutoff is because I'm a completionist. Like with G1, I had to get everything. And with the MPs that are coming out, everything that was in G1, I'm getting it. It's a little tough to do that with Marvel. Because that you know, or something like a Star Wars universe or a DC universe, like they're all so huge. So I'm trying to like find where my cutoff lines are, you know, what I'm going to get and what I'm not going to get. But I'm kind of like slowly filling that collection in, and I backed the Galactus. Yeah,
crazy good looking piece.
He really is good looking, and I got in on the Sentinel as well. So, and that's actually shipping fairly shortly. I think that's starting to ship in September if I remember correctly. So I'm looking forward to getting those.
Yeah, he said on the hangout yesterday. He said to Darius, dude, where's my Sentinel? Like,
Yeah.
dude, chill. Nobody has that yet. Yeah, except
So
you. So the laugh was big.
yeah, those I'm really looking forward to that stuff. So that's pretty much all I'm collecting at the moment. The only
But yeah, the Jean Grey, I need two. That's where I wanted to chime in on the X-Men. Like, I'm also having my small X-Men stuff. I'm currently doing like webs by hand for Carnage and Spider-Man and him. I got the original Spider-Man, but the ball packs broke, and I got Carnage on the web already, and I want to have it. I got one of those toy-based Sentinel bases, you know, where the broken hand of a Sentinel.
yeah.
That's where I currently have the Marvel Select Colossus on, the Masco Gambit, and Wolverine and Cyclops from Mayfax. So that's a good mixture, giving a good picture.
Yeah.
So I need the Jean Grey too, maybe levitating some kind of another. I don't know yet.
Yeah, they're really doing some amazing stuff. Like this goes back to actually you pointed out your G1 Optimus that you got there, man. Looking at the G1 Optimus or any toy that we got when we were kids compared to what they're doing now really gives you some sort of appreciation for how far, you know, technology and everything, and these designers like doing everything in 3D. It's like, man, it really makes you appreciate everything that they're pulling off, because it's amazing, you know. Because our toys, you know, for all the good that they did for getting our imaginations going and getting us into the hobby to begin with, when you really look at the toys, it's like, well, you know, they can't really do a whole hell of a lot. And that one comment, I can't remember, you just read it off. Somebody, oh, here, Rudy, the nostalgic feels with modern engineering. To me, that's what the Masterpiece collection is all about. Is that it's that nostalgia feel, because they look like all the characters that we grew up with, but they can actually like get into poses and you know, they're really cool.
What's new, Ralphie?
But that's pretty much everything I collect. The only other franchise that I want to get into, but I'm just not sure how to get started or where I want to get started, is I was always a Turtle fan.
Okay.
But there were so many different variations of, like, you had the cartoon Turtles and you had the movie Turtles, and you had which is my favorite, the Mirage Comics version of the Turtles.
Right.
And all those different variations of the Turtles had different cast of characters, because like Bebop and Rocksteady never showed up in the movie, you know, or in the
they pretty much kind of retconned them in movie to Tokka and Razor, right?
Right. Yeah, so there's like certain characters I want, but trying to get Turtles like to get the aesthetics to match, you know, because if you're getting the cartoon ones, they're not going to match the aesthetics of the movie ones. And so I'm trying to figure out how I want to go about collecting Turtles. So I haven't started yet, but that's at the back of my mind.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, there's a lot to think about. Like that's actually something where I wanted to ask you. You said with the G1 collection that you have, that this is, are all of those toys that you actually played with back in the day, and you said, I want to have that kind of collector grade in my age now? Or did you just say, okay, I want to have my toys and then I go from there?
There's a few here that I had when I was a kid, but not many, to be honest with you. And it's not like I didn't take care of my stuff when I was a kid. I took really nice care of my stuff, because I always kept all the parts together. I never lost accessories, and you know, I used to cut out the tech specs and keep all the paperwork organized and all that. So I was a little bit of a weird kid in that way. Well, you know what? I didn't grow up with any kind of money. Like, we were fairly, I'm not saying like poor, but we didn't have much growing up. So when I actually got stuff, like, I really appreciated the hell out of it. So I really made sure I took care of everything. But all that being said, I played with my toys, you know, and so, you know, a lot of my stuff from childhood kind of got loose joints and stuff like that for the most part. So the stuff that you're seeing in my collection now is like, you know, I had a Skywarp, or I had an Optimus Prime, or I had, you know, Jazz. And he's not in the greatest of shape anymore, but I want to have that in my collection on the shelf in the package, so I would hunt one down. So I pretty much, you know, a lot of the stuff I have today is not the same stuff that I grew up with.
Okay. Did you put these guys, when you got them, directly on the shelf, or did you at least one time unbox them and check them out?
If they weren't sealed to the bubble, I wouldn't. Yeah, I would definitely take them out and check them out. Yeah, yeah. Because even though we can make all the fun we want about they can't really do much. They're like bricks and all that stuff, but you take one of those out of the box, man, and it makes you a 9-year-old again just for a couple minutes.
Absolutely. Like that. That's what I did with the G1 Prime. Like I did a review. I need to cut this. It's coming Tuesday, but this is what that review is. I have no rating in that. I always hold my fingers to my cat. So if she snuggles, that's a good one, and if not, then just not. But this one is just a love letter, and I'm really playing with my Prime, and I'm applying the stickers and everything, and that's pretty much it. I'm just enjoying the hell out of it. That's exactly what I'm doing during that. But we got Larkins there, and I didn't see that. Love them. Marvel Legends X-Men pre-ordered the Mayfax, Psylocke, and Jean Grey. Psylocke was also one that I need 100%.
Yeah, that looks really good.
Yeah, that's also amazing. Kicking myself, no, not backing the Sentinel. I was actually thinking about backing the Galactus, but I have no place for it. And but the Galactus looks amazing, so that would be great. I was thinking the same with Thundercats, but no Spaceman, so I would passing on them for now. That's a good call. I mean, I believe the NECA is now not rising too much about the turtles, right? I mean, you could go in NECA turtles pretty easily. Also with the movie, I believe the 6-inch are way easier to get than the quarter scale.
Yeah, the quarter scale just takes up so much space, man. They're so cool looking, but I try to stick to anything outside of Transformers. I try to stick to 112 scale. Good call.
If you're like me and you don't like Marvel Legends figures, you have a problem because not every Marvel character has been made from the companies. True. Like Marvel Legends is really fleshing it out like crazy.
Yeah.
So that is amazing. Like in Legends, you probably would get it all. Pretty much also like what third party is doing for Transformers. Like what you mostly will get if you stick to fans toys, you will get it all. If you stick to official masterpiece, then you're pretty much done for.
Yeah.
So we're getting a little bit to gist of things. Is there, if it exists or not, it doesn't matter. Is there an absolute grail piece for you? Like, if you can, does it exist now, but you don't have it? Or is there something in the back of your mind where you say, if this would have gotten a pre-order out of nothing tomorrow, I would have pre-ordered yesterday?
You know what? This is a crazy answer, but no, I can't say that there's anything out there that there's no. Yeah, I pretty much have everything that I could have ever possibly wanted. Cool. even if everything went away today, even if all the third parties went away today, yeah, there would be some disappointment with characters that were never made and stuff like that. But I don't know, man. I have everything from G1 that I could possibly want. The masterpiece stuff is making its way, and hopefully it makes it to what I would consider a finish line, like at least all the main characters getting done, which they're slowly getting done, but I can't think of anything else that I could possibly want. Once I got that double clouder, the Japanese double clouder in my possession, that was the last like grail piece that I think that I could have ever wanted.
So did you get the Japanese G1 just because you said, when I'm gonna do G1, I'm gonna do G1, or was there a certain appeal for you or connection
with the Japanese stuff?
Yeah,
it was. I didn't even know that stuff existed until so RetroCon is run by a dude named Tony, and that Tony I met years ago at a BotCon and found out he was local. Him and his girlfriend were local, so I hung out with them a couple times or whatever, and he gave me these VHS tapes with something called Headmasters, Victory, and Master Force on it. And I had never heard of it. I didn't know about it. I just knew of the American series, and that was pretty much it. So when I started watching this, even though the English dubs were horrendous, but as a Transformers fan, I was seeing Star Saber and Victory Leo and Overlord and Deathsaurus and the Breast Force and the Decepticon, like the Pretenders, the Dino King Pretenders, and like all these characters for the first time. And I was like really super intrigued because, like, how it is when you think this is your universe, and then you find out that there's a whole other part of that universe that you never saw before. It's almost like it takes you right back to childhood again. I don't care how old I was like, wow, there's new Transformers that I didn't know existed. So that kind of got the ball rolling. And I bust his chops every once in a while when I see him. Because I think about how much money I spent on Japanese Transformers, and I'm, man, you cost me all kinds of money, dude. When you handed me those VHS tapes with those series on there, you indirectly you cost me a lot of money.
Well, that's a good call. Like I had to connect the dots back in my day. Like when my G1 Optimus Prime was the Power Master.
Mm-hmm.
And I never knew that this guy's original name was Super Ginrai. That was that was an Optimus Prime that was connecting to his trailer and gotten bigger. That was super cool. So a little years later, I saw, okay, there's an actual Generation 1, and it doesn't combine with the trailer. What the fuck's going on? And from there, it went there. And then it was Super Ginrai, and it was God Ginrai. And then I read the Marvel G1 comics back also. And there was that connection because, hey, it looked more like the Power Master and not the G1. But then there was this connection. Okay, it kind of was the G1, and then it transitioned into that. So there's a lot of mixed up stuff. And getting all of that together, and then you have all of that in that room, I think that is fulfillment. I think that could be very fulfilling.
Yep.
Nice, very nice. Rudy said, such a good question. I've thought about this actually. How about a pole position cartoon toy line done in the style of Mask? Whoa, interesting. Also, if they would be doing, I don't know, like masterpiece versions of Mask, that would be bad.
I just brought that up on the Reflector Files about maybe 2 weeks ago. I posted and said, I'm actually surprised it didn't happen already, because it just seems like man, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm being biased because I was really into it, but I feel like a lot of the sentiment in the fan community is that a lot of people were really into Mask. So it just, I'm surprised. It would be tough to do. A lot of people were saying, like, maybe doing them for 6-inch scale figures or whatever, but those would be humongous, man. I feel like you still got to stick with the smaller figures, because in Mask it wasn't about the characters necessarily, it was about the vehicles. So I feel like you kind of want to do a scale that would suit that, but and then Vanessa would want a Vanessa Warfield figure, obviously. I can't remember. Vanessa Warfield was one of the bad guys. I can't remember.
Right, from that. Yeah, right. That never got released. Right.
I can't remember if she drove what did she drive? The motorcycle? Was that the motorcycle that she? Can't remember what the vehicle was.
I can't quite remember anymore because I'm not in fluid as Mask as my buddy Dan from Sentinel Base. So, but he's got his Mask collection, and he always says, man, if they are doing, who is that? There's this third-party company that is doing an 80s toy line, not the Visionaries, another one.
Oh, Centurions.
Yeah, right.
Ramen Toys, which is kind of a funny name because most of us that are collecting are also eating ramen.
Most of the time. But I think this is very dangerous, right? Like if there's actually a third-party company that is now going into something else than Transformers, like then everything else is fair game. Like then it could be Brave Star, it could be Galaxy Rangers, it could be Mask.
Yeah.
Like imagine with, like you said, with the tech of today for the figures, imagine Galaxy Rangers, Zachary Fox,
right,
with a light up arm. Like, for example, this is easy to be done in today's day and age.
As a fan, I'm super excited about all that. But my credit card is cowering in fear.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like this is dangerous shit. If they would actually be doing this, like I'm happy this didn't get fleshed out too much, the RoboCop portion, because Hot Toys never did the bad guys. But sometimes I look over to the third party and the customer aisle, and I see crazy people like customers like Legio 7 that did the Emil, like when he emerged from the toxic waste vat and he got all melty and everything, and also a Nash, and now someone is doing a new Clarence body car. Oh, the shelf needs a Clarence desperately. So but these are so expensive, man. Like these are sometimes 300, 400 a pop. That's just too much. That's way too much, just for putting it on the shelf, especially. But how do I word this question now? Because you got a few figures out of box. We saw that. We see it a little bit up there with a Cell, with a Toy World Devi. But with the G1, the question is essentially in box or out box, and why? But with the G1, I kind of get why, because these are the G1, and if you're gonna collect them then like this, and otherwise you're just hoarding figures towards each other all the time. But have you ever, I think that is good. Have you ever thought of displaying your G1 collection differently than purely boxed?
No, not for a second. Not for a second.
Good
No.
talk.
Yeah, well, because I think, and the only reason I could say it with no hesitation like that is because of the masterpiece collection. Because I think the G1 portion of my collection and the masterpiece portion of my collection are there for two different reasons. Like the G1 is strictly nostalgia, you know, remembering childhood of being a Transformer fan and, you know, growing up in that era. And to me, I guess the masterpiece stuff coming out when it did was like, all right, you know, I have the old school one in the box and it'll display really nicely. And now I have an MP10 at that point, which was, or maybe even MP1 if you go back to the very beginning. But like, this is what I imagined on the TV screen, you know, this Optimus Prime, as opposed to the G1 Optimus Prime that can't do a whole hell of a lot. So the MPs made it easier to, if MPs didn't exist, my G1 collection would probably look a lot different. I probably would have just had, you know, an unboxed collection, or maybe a box collection where everything was open and the figures were displayed in front of the box. But the fact that the MP collection is out there, and those are the toys that I like posing and taking pictures of and displaying, makes the G1 more of a nostalgia thing. And there's no greater nostalgia that I can remember than like that feeling of anticipation when I was walking in the front door of Toys R Us or KB or some toy store, and I just knew I was heading to the action figure aisle, and I knew there was going to be a nice chunk of that action figure aisle that was Transformers, and like what was going to be there, you know, depending on what year it was. But just seeing all those lined up, you know, it's like, man, it was just it was an amazing sight as a kid. And so I think that's what I was trying to achieve, keeping everything in the boxes down here. Now, just so it don't get twisted, a lot of this stuff is open. I can take it out, you know, I just choose to display it in the box. You know, not every one of the bubbles is sealed. And, you know, a lot of the stuff, especially the stuff that has like the styrofoam, like that stuff, you don't have to break any bubbles. You can take that stuff out really easy. So a lot, you know, the stuff I can get to this stuff, I just choose not to.
Yeah. I also see a pretty much a big OCD approach to that, because with the, I for myself, I would, you know, because with a masterpiece, you always can keep them boxed, but all these companies all have different styling to them. Like sometimes like New Age toys, they do the full G1 toy approach, right?
Yep.
Like this is amazing. I probably will put the G1 Prime with this Starscream, and that will be kind of a good G1-ish collection. But I mean, with a masterpiece, you would never get a coherent look in that. Like this is all different. And with the G1, you walk into that room, the Transformers is on the same portion of the lid every time with the artwork, and it's just, I would like to see this room in person one day.
One of these days, hey, my door is always open to you, man. If you ever, for some reason, find yourself over here, you know, yeah, you're more than welcome to come check it out for sure.
Yeah. I mean, there's still Philly cheesesteak and stuff like that on the bucket list.
Oh yeah. Well, you let me know, and we'll make that happen.
All right, man. We'll do that. That sounds like a plan. That sure sounds like a plan. Is there some form of, to totally switch subjects? Is there a weird talent that you have, something that you can think of that no one else has? If it's usable or not, or useful or whatever. But it's something that you know you can do and no one else can, or at least you don't know.
The only thing that I could do that nobody else can is Vanessa. Oh man, talent wise, no, I don't think I have any unique talents. I think the talents I have are usually on display all the time, like graphics and, you know, playing guitar and singing and playing ball and all that. Like everything that I can do, I'm pretty much doing already. But I don't think I have any unique talents.
or weird, or call it a weird ability. Maybe.
A weird ability. I can make fart noises with a bunch of different body parts of mine outside of my butt. You know, I could do like ear fart noises, eye fart noises, back and the knee fart noises, armpit farts. Like, yeah. Listen, you painted me into the corner with this question. I had to answer. Right. Sometimes I do it in front of Vanessa, and she's looking at me like, I can't believe why am I dating you? You know. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, outside of that, that's probably the most unique talent I have that I can't really do anything with. I don't have anything useful that I could do. That's a unique talent.
There you go.
Everybody plays guitar and everybody does graphic design and everybody plays ball, so I'm not really doing anything different there, but I'm just doing it. So
yeah, but you know, on the guitar bit, I mean, a lot of people know how to play guitar, do the chords and all the notes and everything, but not everywhere it sounds all good, you know. So
yeah,
it's pretty much the same as driving a car. You can get the license, but do you get the sense to really drive a car, you know?
Right, yeah.
Or fathering a child and being a dad. Those are two different things.
I agree. Yep, I agree.
That's what you. But the fart noises, that's an ability. I mean, I never heard about I fart, so that's
do you want me to give you one live on the air right now? I'll give you one live on the air right now. Here we go.
Yeah, that's good. Also,
Am I the first I fart noise on the Nerd Crate channel?
Yeah, I've never seen that. That is so fucked up and hilarious.
Now you know why I had such a hard time getting laid when I was younger.
I mean, but that is, I mean, mostly it says the doorway to the girl's inner thighs is mostly being funny. It's what it mostly said, right? So this should have been a door opener.
I don't know.
Maybe not. But hey, let's head back to collectibles just for a short bit. Is there a favorite shelf that you got? Like not necessarily this room yet in particular. I mean, it probably is, but that's not counting as a shelf. But an actual space where you say, yeah, this always pulls me in.
I don't know if I have a special shelf necessarily as much as a special figure. Is that my G1 Starstream, my G1 Skywarp is cool. Actually that was the first Transformer I ever held in my hands in my life. I got it as a Christmas gift, and it was actually from my mom's boss at the time. He sent it home with her for me for Christmas, and I remember opening it up and thinking it was just like a jet, like a toy jet. Because I didn't know what Transformers were at the time. And, you know, and then as I opened up the box, I saw the robot on there and started putting two and two together. And once I busted that out and realized it transformed into a robot, that changed my life pretty much. So that was the very first Transformer I ever got. So I have it actually right next to me over here in a G1 Decepticon case. And that I'll probably get buried with that. You know, when the time comes, because that was the thing that really sent me down this road. I mean, I'm sure maybe it would have happened otherwise, not necessarily with Transformers, because I was always surrounded by people that were, you know, into comic books or, you know, so I'm sure I would have gotten into the nerd thing at some point, one way or another. But, you know, at 8 years old, I held that Skywarp in my hands, and I just knew that this was something I really wanted to get into as a kid, and it never left me. So that particular figure is pretty special.
Yeah, that I believe in our mind now, it was probably like, I don't know, you have that in your hands and there's this divine light from the back. It's not there, only you see it.
right. Yep.
that's what happened with me with the G1 Prime. So feeling like that kid again, yeah, there's a big appeal to that. It's crazy. Like, I understand that way more now. Like, I decided to unbox them. I don't know, I will kind of display the box, but yeah, I get the appeal. I 100% do. Like,
I think when you get a piece like that, in your hands, it kind of reminds you of why you're doing this to begin with, you know, because I think sometimes as collectors, we think that, you know, the end game is collecting. and just having the pieces and, you know, getting them in your hands and all that stuff like that. And that's one part of it. But I think at the end of the day, all this is here, and it all leads back to the moment when you first became a nerd. You know, when did you pick up your first comic book, or when did you see your first cartoon that you got into, or whatever, you know? And I think that's getting an old piece like that, you know, the old, you know, G1 Optimus Prime, that's a reminder of why you're here.
Yeah, I feel like the same way. Like the end game is to keep the love actually alive, like not completing that. This is just something you complete a line, all good and well, but do you enjoy every single piece?
Right.
Like, do you still love this? Are you still in it? Like, this is what happens to me every single day. Like, I got a multi-power plug back there with my router on there for my internet, and each night when I go to bed, I turn that off. I have all the lights and everything off in my apartment. And when I get back up, the first thing in the morning, I go in here, and this is the first view I always have. You know, my Mortal Kombat display, my RoboCop, my Terminator, Transformers. It was always kind of also when I was back from work, not with the lockdown and everything, but getting back home, turning off the internet. That first bit of, you know, plastic feng shui. You're standing in here, though. I love this room.
Yeah, yeah.
just loving it, and keep loving it. And this is I mean, like you said, weird bit maybe, but that's what you said. Like, all respect for hoarders. If they like their collection for what it is, then all power to them, you know. But when you have the shelves really full, every bot, every figure, like really edge to edge, and there's no space between it, I don't know, man. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I look at that and think like, do you even still know what you all got, man? I mean, your shelves are overfull, overcrowded. Like, back of the Titanic, nobody fucking knows where to go. And they're all crowding up at the end. No, I don't want to go. I'm at the very end. No, not one more. No.
I just feel like it would be tough to keep up with. Like, for me, I feel like, and again, you know, not to knock anybody that does it that way, because if you can enjoy it that way, that's perfectly cool. But I feel like it would be overwhelming, not just on the pocketbook, but it would just be like just trying to, you know, I'm just keeping up with Transformers for the most part. You know, a little bit of G.I. Joe here and a little bit of, you know, this there, but for the most part, it's just you know, and a Transformer collection in one scale. Like, I know people that get Transformers Masterpiece and Chug and Legends and, you know, all and not just G1 stuff. Then there's movie stuff, and there's Prime, and there's animated, and there's all the IDW, and there's all this different things. And I just feel like
Transformers all in, right?
Yeah, like it just seems tough to keep up with. And I actually do see people complain about burnout from time to time, where, you know, it's a constant flow of things, packages coming in the front door, and keeping up with pre-orders and all that kind of stuff. And that's like, you know, keeping the collection to how I do it. I've never experienced that. It's always, you know, it's always going well, and I'm always happy to be involved with it. It's never become a burden. You don't want it to become a burden. This is our hobby. This is how we have fun. You know, this is how we, you know, it's just like you said, you walk into that room and you know, you just like check things out for it. Like, mine is downstairs, so sometimes I'll come down to do the laundry, and I'll just poke my head in the door, and I'll lose a half hour because I just end up, you know, wandering into this room and just sitting on the floor and just looking around like, man, this is cool. You know, this is it's a cool room, and I don't ever feel that burden. You know, that's the last thing you want to feel from something that is supposed to be bringing you joy.
Exactly. Like, I had a few times here. It looks a little bit rough in here right now. I need to clean this up, and I got some time again. But overall, it's in a good shape, and that's also, you know, like keeping it clean, keeping it tidy, and then you're fiddling around with that, and then that's where the love also returns. And then when it's all good and well, you just kick back with a comic book. That's what you said. When sometimes people have their collection rooms also that you can kick back. I got that too. I got my couch here, so sometimes I just close the door, let the cat be cat and sleeping, and just have one of those IDW covers, have some music on the PC, and just that's just enjoying it. That's just a beautiful part of it.
Agreed.
So, dude, we're actually at the final question. I mean, oh Jesus, we're also at 1 hour and 9. So we had that talk a little bit about Revelation, with the people. Let's not, yeah, letting people keep their opinion, and people hating on each other only by opinion, and not saying, okay, that's your opinion, that's cool, that's mine, hey, let's shake hands, it's all good, agree to disagree. But sometimes, the community bullshit is cooking over top. It's just a little bit too much. And even if you're trying to be the voice of reason in some comment sections, you're just blasted. There's no way that you can get any reason in there. But what if Mike Kingcaid could have a message for these people, and they would need to abide by? So the community bullshit would have to end. Like, what would it be that you would tell these people, like, in the sense of, I don't know, chill out, don't be a dick, whatever?
I think probably going back to what we mentioned a little bit before, like, the collection.
Sorry, a fellow photographer. We got Tyler 76 in the chat, dude. What's up?
He's good too, by the way. You gotta, I don't know if you've ever seen his page and stuff like that, but he does a lot of really cool stuff. Really, a lot of cool stuff.
Amazing. So back to you. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that you have to. I've seen collectors actually turned off by how the fan base was acting, to the point where they wanted to get out of the hobby, which is not crazy to me. I kind of understand it a little bit, because sometimes I shake my head looking at some of this stuff too. But I think at the end of the day, you have to collect for yourself. Yeah. And like you said, if you like it, you win. And if you don't like it, don't buy it. And I think the way that criticisms, I don't think there's anything wrong with criticizing a figure, or criticizing a company, or criticizing something that you don't like or think could be better. But I just think there's better ways of doing it. I think when a company puts out a reveal, yeah, they want opinions, but what good is an opinion of, that looks like dog shit? You know what I mean? That doesn't do anybody any good. Like, all right, here's what I like about it, here's what I don't like about it. There's a way to talk to people, and the internet has given everybody kind of that. Even though we're on Facebook, sometimes there's places where our names are actually listed. You still have that anonymous factor going, because like I could clown this dude here, and he ain't ever gonna find out where I live. Yeah. In order to show up on my front porch and punch me in the face for anything I say to him. So I'm just gonna say whatever I want, So I think a lot of times you have to approach your comments and your criticisms in a way like, how would I say this to this person if they were standing in front of me? Yeah. And there's always a better way, like, rather than just trashing everything, or there's constructive criticisms to be made in a good way. And I just think that's probably that. I guess that would, in a nutshell, that would be it. Like, just talk to everybody how you would talk to them if they were standing in front of you. And that doesn't mean, that your comment is gonna cause a fist fight. It just means, like, just have a little respect. You know what I mean? Like, maybe common sense and respect. That's pretty much it. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I see some shit that really pisses me off, but my other thing that I do is I'll type a comment in the heat of the moment, but instead of hitting the enter button, I'll just take a step back for a minute or two and let some calm fall over me, and then I'll go back and look at what I typed, and then just delete it and never send it to begin with, and then just walk away and don't end up not saying anything. And that's probably the best way to do it. Yes, that's what I wanted to say. This is probably the best approach. That is exactly what I sometimes do. Dude, you're the first person that I ever hear that does exactly the same thing that I do. I do that also. When I see huge comment sections, like, sometimes shit just turns up, you're awake, time zones, and then you see stuff about something, you scroll through it, and you're like, what the fuck? Your eyes are still, and and then you're typing away. But then you're stepping back a moment, and then you're, well, for starters, it's not going to change the world. And then I could have also worded it way differently. So I'm gonna take myself a bun and a coffee, and then I'm gonna return to that real chill. And I think that's what people also would need to do. Like, just be easy and chill about it. Just think for a second more. Exactly like you said. Like, how would you react? How would you word it if you would actually be standing, I don't know, buying groceries, and someone says something? How would you word it? Like, some people just write it grammatically horrible. Like,
no punctuation, nothing whatsoever. Like every fucking letter after the next, and you're supposed to figure that shit out. And then also, like, there's a thing, you can actually see the tone in someone's voice when they're writing. Are they aggressive, or are they okay, or not? You know?
I think you can, but I think a lot of times you can. I think context is lost a lot of times, where you could, you know, there's a sentence, you could say a certain sentence to somebody's face, and they'll hear your inflection and hear actually how you're hearing it, and hear if there's any kind of sarcasm or any kind of, you know, in type, a lot of times you put your own context on it, but you can't because somebody else said it. So sometimes maybe somebody was saying something really benign or maybe being a little sarcastic or whatever, but you can't tell that because you're not the one that typed it out, you know? So, and I think a lot of times people get into it, man, we see it with everything. We see it with, not just in the collecting world, but like everywhere, man, especially with politics and everything taking over the internet over the last bunch of years. It just gets, I don't know. Sometimes you get tired sometimes you just get tired of arguing with people. You realize, just like you said, man, it ain't going to change anything. I could throw my 2 cents out here and I might have a rational 2 cents to throw out, but at the end of the day, like, what the hell am I doing? You know, I'm just going to go about my day and I'm going to enjoy my collection. And, you know, nobody goes in this room except for me. And if I ever have anybody over, they'll check it out. But for the most part, this room has to make me happy. Exactly. It don't have to make you happy. It has to make me happy. So I just, you know, whatever's going on the internet ain't going to change that one way or another.
I think that is a very good way to close shop today. That is perfect, quite honestly. I mean, everybody has a great answer to this. I mean, everybody has different opinions always with how to word it, how to think about it, what should you do. But there's pretty much a good consensus in everybody that I had on with this, like common sense, chill, think about what the other person would do or say or think about, for that matter. And I don't know, it comes back to what I said, that people being bored and probably having other problems in their life, and that's why they think way too hard about this instead of just, like you said, enjoying it. Just enjoying it, being real, having a hard day at work, you're standing in front of the mirror and you know exactly what you did. Then you're making yourself a nice meal and you totally forgot about that, but you turn on Netflix. Oh, right, Revelation aired. Cool, I got new He-Man to watch. Fuck yeah.
Yep.
And just enjoy that, you know? And that's what a lot of people are missing in today's day and age, I believe, just the love for it.
Yep, I agree.
Right? So, final question, and that is from Mike, and that's a rough question. Not from Mike, from Ralph. Have you ever had a moment where you thought about quitting?
No, never. I think as a completionist, I think I see a finish line, but I know the finish line is never actually coming. You know, I think this is this
right here.
This is a part of what we do. Like, you know, this became so much more than toys for a lot of us. You know, and toys are a part of my personality. You're not the toys, but the whole nerdhood in general is just a part of my personality. So whether or not I'm collecting or not collecting, I'm always going to be a fan, for one. But collecting in general now, I never see myself quitting, because it's just something I've done since I'm a little kid. And I'll actually lay a nugget of wisdom on you from Vanessa, which I think a lot of people haven't heard and need to hear. But like when I was after I got divorced and stuff, and I was kind of dating, I was a little nervous, you know, about being single again after so long, but especially because I am into all this nerd stuff and collecting figures. And it's like, man, you know, like, I don't want to stereotype all women, but you know how a lot of women would probably look at that kind of stuff. And so I used to just, like, I brought her down here for the first time and showed her this room and was like letting her look around. And I asked her how weird she thought it was. And she told me, she's like, this is something that you got into when you were 8 years old, and you are, at the time I was 40 or 41. She's like, you're 41 years old right now. Like, you've found something you've loved at age 8, and you're 41 and you still love it just as much as you did when you were 8 years old. Like, this is a sign of commitment and this is a sign of loyalty and all that stuff. And she's like, what else are women gonna want out of a dude besides loyalty and commitment? And it was like, man, I never thought of it that way, because a lot of women are, you know, aren't really into dudes collecting. Think it's a waste of money, or it's like childish or whatever. But that was the first time I heard an opinion like that out of somebody. So I thought that was really cool. And that all circles back to just this whole thing just being a part of your, as a collector. It's a part of your personality, and it's a part of what you do, and it's a part of what I do. And I really, you know, I've already mentioned me being buried already 3 times during this video, but that's what it's going to be. That's when I'll stop collecting. I'll stop collecting when my time's up. It's pretty much it.
That's a good call, dude. Also from Vanessa, that's amazing. I also never thought about it that way, but that's yeah, what existence says. She's a keeper.
Yeah,
she's a keeper for sure.
Right. Yeah. She's unique for having that opinion on her own. But for girls that don't have that opinion on their own, that's a good thing to bring up when you're, hey, listen, if you're paying your bills and you're being responsible about it and everything's taken care of, and it's not like you're a collector that's just buying toys and then you're not paying your other bill. Like, I get that. I get when that kind of shit pisses people off, but pisses women off. But like, if you're being a responsible adult and you got a job and you're paying your bills and everything else is taken care of, and you decide to do this as a hobby, like, listen, man, I could have bought a lot of beer and drugs for all this money, but I didn't. I spent it on toys, man.
Exactly. And this is literally all down the drain.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. So yeah, that's a good, you know, for all the dudes that are in here listening to this, you know, if you have a intolerant girlfriend, that's a good point to bring up.
I think so too. Actually, Dennis' wife actually said something in the same vein when he, I believe it was when he started his channel, either when he started his channel or when he started his collection. She said the exact same thing. He told me that as long as that doesn't impede like the household costs and whatever, do whatever the fuck you like.
Yep.
Like, you know, being responsible. That's all there is. It's amazing. It's good to hear that normal people are out there.
Yep.
A certain damaged portion is there, but this is, I always say, like, okay, you have to be normal. If you want to be normal, you gotta have some. There's got to be some damage in there,
right?
Like, just the usual normal where people go about their lives and have nothing else. This is weird. This is actually weird. I think this all around here, and us being in here and actually be able to talk, and me flying over there just to be with people and we meeting each other, and then you're being here now. This is what it actually comes down to, and this is healthy. This is healthy damage. Like, I don't know how to put it else, but I at least you know what I mean.
Yep, I do.
So yeah, Cantina also said, but what's normal? Like, there's a German book. It's called Knicke. There's a certain set of rules that you have to like behavioral rules that you have to abide by, and one that was implemented a few years ago is actually, if someone sneezes, you don't say bless you anymore, but the other person has to say excuse me. And that's also this is super weird. We also say bless you. We call it health, Gesundheit. That's right. What we say. But excusing, this is weird.
Yeah,
this is also not normal. I'm blabbering on. I'm rambling. Mike, thanks so much for being here, dude.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, man. It's you know, I'll be glad to do it anytime. It's always good to catch up with you. I know we always get to chat, you know, here and there in the IM, but it's nice to meet up somewhat face to face for once. And it's cool to know it. Like, man, there's just nerds across the planet, and this makes it a smaller planet. So I dig that. And thank you to having me on, and thanks to everybody over here in the chat for throwing comments and questions and spending some time with us. And
exactly,
I hope to see everybody at a con real soon. Hopefully they don't get canceled. But you know, if everything goes according to plan, they won't be, and we have a couple of good parties coming up in the next couple of months with RetroCon and TFCon, so I'm looking forward to that as well.
That sounds great. That sounds sure great. Yeah, I hope. My plan is to be over there next year again. Like this year, I can't do it, but next year is the plan.
Good
Together
deal.
with Dan. So
yeah, I remember meeting you for the first time. You were roaming around with that shirt, getting everybody to sign it. I remember that.
Yeah, I got that set up here. I still got it. Like I pinned that to the wall. I'm not wearing that. It's all the autographs are on there.
Yep.
I'm honoring that. But yeah, guys, make sure to like and subscribe to Mike's channel. He's also got his channel up, and if you want to know a little bit more about the Reflector Files, he got some cool Q&A in there, and be 100% sure to check out 10 shots, 10 baht. It's his version of the one that's who Adam started, and it's hilarious. If you're not in for the first, try the second and stay until Mudflap. Was it Skids or Mudflap?
Oh, it was Skids. Yeah, it was Skids. Right? Yeah. Speaking of Philadelphia and Rocky Balboa and Eye of the Tiger and all that, yeah, definitely hang out for Skids.
That was so cool. I was laughing tears. That was fucking awesome. But dude, your moment to shine. If you plug for yourself, go ahead.
Yeah, so you cover the Reflector Files. That's on Facebook and Instagram. I sell t-shirt designs on I have my own website for that. It's dragonstarshop.com. I have my old band Angel Down. We're doing a reunion show in November, so hopefully I'll throw that to Facebook Live so everybody could watch that. That's an awesome band. And also my drummer from that band, Tony, and I have a little recording project we call the McCullen Project.
Nice.
That's actually named after Destro. I'm not sure if I ever told you that or not, but that's named after.
I didn't. We had so much to talk about. I didn't get into that. I checked it out though.
Yeah. So that's, we have that going as well. So there's music. All that stuff is on my channel on YouTube, which is just under my name, Michael Kingcaid. And I think that's all the plugs that I have. I got so much stuff going on. It's hard to remember sometimes, but I think that's pretty much everything. Yeah.
Sounds good.
I appreciate the opportunity to put all that stuff out there.
Dude, all the time. I had a great time. I felt like 2018 we clicked. We were able to have good talks on the interwebs, on all that stuff where we're only typing away, where most of the stuff of the usual conversations are actually lost. So
yep.
I think that stands for something. Like you said, the world is getting smaller. So that's always nice. And if you of course, now's my time to shine. It's my channel anyway. If you like that, I'm doing these things pretty regularly, so make sure to like and subscribe and click the little notification bell, and you won't miss the next time. The last few were a little bit closer to each other. That was how the scheduling was just away, but it's always there. I always announce that on my Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. I plug to people. And you can always check these out, and they are always fun. Like this is probably the best that you can do on the channel. Just hang out with a friend, and you have minimal work out of it, and people can watch it afterwards. So yeah, man, thanks again. I had a great fucking time. Good to see you, and I would say we see probably each other on the next of the Nerds Have Spoken Hangouts, whenever they will be. I think yesterday you didn't get a link, right?
No, I gotta hit up Jason and get on one of those. A lot of times it's tough for me to make those because they're held on Saturday nights, and a lot of times we have shows and stuff, so it's tough for me to get in on them. But yeah, I'll make it back for one soon. Cool,
sounds good. Yeah, man. So I would say good fight, good night, but this is just not the way I do it. That was Celebrity Deathmatch. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. I had a great fucking time, like I said, and I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow on Voice of Chaos, Collector's Bay YouTube channel down there, and on the next review on Tuesday. And otherwise, yeah, like I always like to say, bleib brav, bleib gesund, be well, stay well. I think that's the best translation. And yeah, have a great start for the new week.
You too.
See you soon. Bye-bye. Where's the outro? No! There it is.